The whole has no boundaries. You must become like the whole. Only then there can be a meeting, a merger. When you are empty, you are without boundaries. Suddenly, you have become the whole. When you are not, you become the whole. When you are, you become an ugly ego. When you are not, you have all the expanse of existence for your being to be. But these are contradictions. So try to understand, become a little like Naropa. Otherwise, these words and symbols will not carry anything to you. Listen me in trust. And when I say listen me in trust, I mean I have known this. This is so. I am a witness. I bear witness for it. This is so. It may not be possible to say it, but that doesn't mean that it is not. It may be possible to say something, that doesn't mean that it is. You can say something which is not. And you may be incapable of saying something which is. I bear witness about it, but you will be able to understand me only if you are a Naropa. If you listen in trust. I am not teaching a doctrine. I would not have been at all concerned with Tilopa if this was not my own experience also. Tilopa has said it well. The void needs no reliance. Mahamudra rests on not, on nothing. Mahamudra rests. Mahamudra, the literal word means the great gesture or the ultimate gesture. The last that you can have, beyond which nothing is possible. Mahamudra rests on nothing. You be a nothing, and then all is attained. You die and you become a god. You disappear and you become the whole. Here the drop disappears and there the ocean comes into existence. Don't cling to yourself. That's all you have been doing all your past lives. Clinging, afraid that if you don't cling to the ego, then you look down a bottomless abyss is there. That's why we cling to tiny things, very tribal. We go on clinging to them. The clinging shows only that you are also aware of a vast emptiness inside. Something is needed to cling. But your clinging is your sansar, is your misery. Leave yourself into the abyss. And once you leave yourself into the abyss, you become the abyss itself. Then there is no death. Because how can an abyss die? Then there is no end to it, because how a nothingness can end? Something can end, will have to end. Only nothing can be eternal. Mahamudra rests on nothing. Let me explain you through some experience that you have got. When you love a person, you have to become a nothing. When you love a person, you have to become a no self. That's why love is so difficult. And that's why Jesus says God is like love. He knows something about Mahamudra. Because before he started teaching in Jerusalem, he has been to India. He has been to Tibet also. He met people like Tilopa and Naropa. He remained in Buddhist monasteries. He learned about what it is these people call nothingness. Then he tried to translate his whole understanding into Jivis terminology. There everything got messed. You cannot translate Buddhist understanding into Jivis terminology. It is impossible. Because the whole Jivis terminology depends on positive terms. And the Buddhist terminology depends on absolutely nihilistic terms, nothingness, emptiness. But here and there, in Jesus' words, there are glimpses. He says, God is love. He is indicating something. What is the indication? When you love, you have to become nobody. If you remain as somebody, then love never happens. When you love a person, even for a single moment, love happens and flows between two persons. There are two nothingnesses, not two persons. If you have ever had any experience of love, you can understand. Two lovers sitting by each other's side are two nothingnesses sitting together. Only then the meeting is possible, because barriers are broken, boundaries thrown away. The energy can move from here to there. There is no hindrance. And only in such a moment of deep love, orgasm is possible. When two lovers are making love, and if they both are no selves, nothingnesses, then orgasm happens. Then your body, energy, their whole being loses all identity. They are no more themselves. They have fallen into the abyss. But this can happen only for a moment. Again, there's again. Again they start clinging. That's why people become afraid in love also. In deep love, people are afraid of becoming mad, are going to die. What will happen? The abyss opens the mouth. The whole existence yawns, and you are suddenly there, and you can fall into it. One becomes scared of love. Then people remain satisfied with sex, and they call their sex love. Love is not sex. Sex can happen in love. It can be a part, integral part to it. But sex itself is not love, it is a substitute. You are trying to avoid love through sex. You are giving yourself a feeling that you are in love, and you are not moving into love. Sex is just like borrowed knowledge, giving a feeling of knowing without knowing, giving a feeling of love and loving without loving. In love, you are not. The other is also not. Then only suddenly the two disappear. The same happens in Mahamudra. Mahamudra is a total orgasm with the whole existence. That's why in Tantra, and Tilopa is a Tantra master. Deep intercourse, orgasmic intercourse between two lovers is also called Mahamudra. And two lovers in deep orgasmic state are pictured in Tantra temples, in Tantra books. That has become a symbol of the final orgasm. Mahamudra rests on not without making an effort, but remaining loose and natural, and this is the whole method of Tilopa and whole method of Tantra. Without making an effort, because if you make an effort, the ego is strengthened. If you make an effort, you come in. So love is not an effort. You cannot make an effort to love. If you make an effort, there is no love. You flow into it. You don't make an effort. You simply allow it to happen. You don't make an effort. It is not a doing. It is a happening. Without making an effort. And the same is with the total, the final. You don't make an effort. You simply float with it. But remaining loose and natural, this is the way. This is the very ground of Tantra. Yoga says make an effort, and Tantra says don't make any effort. Yoga is ego-oriented. Finally it will take the jump. But Tantra is from the very beginning non-ego-oriented. Yoga in the end attains to such significance, such meaning, such depth, that it says to its seeker, now drop the ego. Only in the end. Tantra from the very beginning, from the very first step. I would like to say it in this way, in such a way, that where yoga ends, Tantra starts. The highest peak of yoga is the beginning of Tantra. And Tantra leads you to the ultimate goal. Yoga can prepare you for Tantra, that's all. Because the final thing is to be effortless, loose and natural. What Tilopa means by loose and natural. Don't fight with yourself. Be loose. Don't try to make a structure around you of character, of morality. Don't discipline yourself too much. Otherwise your very discipline will become the bondage. Don't create an imprisonment around you. Remain loose, floating. Move with the situation. Respond to the situation. Don't move with a character jacket around you. Don't move with a fixed attitude. Remain loose like water, not fixed like ice. Remain moving and flowing wherever the nature leads you, go. Don't resist. And don't try to impose anything on you, your being. But the whole society teaches you to impose something or other. Be good, be moral, be this and that. And Tantra is absolutely beyond society, culture and civilization. It says, if you are too much cultured, you will lose all that is natural. And then you will be a mechanical thing, not floating, not flowing. So don't force a structure around you. Live moment to moment. Live with alertness. And this is a deep thing to be understood. Why people try to create a structure around them? So that they don't need alertness. Because if you have no character around you, you will need to be very, very aware. Because each moment the decision has to be taken. You don't have a prefabricated decision. You don't have an attitude. You have to respond to the situation. Something is there, and you are absolutely unprepared for it. You will have to be very, very aware. To avoid awareness, people have created a trick, and the trick is character. Force yourself into a certain discipline. So whether you are aware or not, the discipline will take care of you. Make a habit of always saying the truth. Make it a habit. Then you need not be worried about it. Somebody asks, you will say the truth. I'm out of habit. But out of habit, a truth is dead. And life is not so simple. Life is a very, very complex phenomenon. Sometimes a lie is needed. And sometimes a truth can be dangerous. And one has to be aware. For example, if through your lie, somebody's life is saved, and through your lie nobody is harmed, and somebody's life is saved, what you will do? If you have a fixed mind that you have to be true, then you will kill a life. Nothing is more valuable than life. No truth. Nothing is more valuable than a life. And sometimes your truth can kill somebody's life. What you will do? Just saving your own old pattern and habit, your own ego that I am a truthful man. You will sacrifice a life just being a truthful man, just to be that. This is too much. You are completely mad. If a life can be saved, even if people think that you are a liar, what is wrong in it? Why bother too much about what people say about you? It is difficult. It is not so easy to create a fixed pattern, because life goes on moving and changing, and every moment there is a new situation, and one has to respond to it. Respond with full awareness, that's all. And let the decision come out of the situation itself, not prefabricated, not imposed. Don't carry a built-in mind. Just remain loose and aware and natural. And this is how a real religious man is. Otherwise, The so-called religious persons are just dead. They act out of their habits. They go on acting out of their habits. This is a conditioning. This is not a freedom. Consciousness needs freedom. Be loose. Remember this word as deeply as possible. Let it penetrate you. Be loose. So in every situation you can flow easily, water-like. So if the water is poured into a glass, it takes the shape of the glass. It doesn't resist. It doesn't say, this is not my form. If the water is poured into a jar, into a jug, it takes the shape of that. It has no resistance. It is loose. Remain loose like water. Sometimes you will have to move south and sometimes north. You will have to change directions. According to the situations you will have to flow. But if you know how to flow, it is enough. The ocean is not very far away if you know how to flow. So don't create a pattern. And the whole society tries to create a pattern. And all the religions try to create a pattern. Only very few enlightened persons have been courageous enough to say the truth. The truth is, be loose and natural. If you are loose, you will be natural, of course. Tilopa doesn't say be moral, he says be natural. And these are completely diametrically opposite dimensions. A moral man is never natural, cannot be. If he feels angry, he cannot be angry, because the morality doesn't allow it. If he feels loving, he cannot be loving because the morality is there. It is always according to the morality that he acts. It is never according to his nature. And I tell you, if you start moving according to moral patterns and not according to your nature, you will never reach the state of Mahamudra. Because it is a natural state, the highest peak of being natural. I tell you, if you feel angry, be angry, but perfect awareness has to be retained. Anger should not overpower your consciousness, that's all. Let anger be there. Let it happen. But fully alert that what is happening. Remain loose, natural, aware. Watching what is happening. By and by you will see many things have simply disappeared. They don't happen anymore. And without making any effort on your part. You never tried to kill them and they have simply disappeared. When one is aware, anger by and by disappears. It becomes simply stupid. Not bad, remember. Because bad is a loaded value. It becomes simply stupid. It is not that because it is bad you don't move into it. It is simply foolish. It is not a sin, but simply stupid. Greed disappears. It is stupid. Jealousy disappears. It is stupid. Remember this valuation. In morality there is something good and something bad. In being natural there is something wise and something stupid. A man who is natural is wise. not good. A man who is not natural is stupid, not bad. There is nothing bad and nothing good. Only wise things and foolish things. And if you are foolish, you harm yourself and others. And if you are wise, you don't harm anybody, neither others nor you. There is nothing like sin and there is nothing like virtue. Wisdom is all. If you want to call it virtue, call it virtue. And ignorance is there. If you want to call it sin, that is the only sin. So how to transform your ignorance into wisdom? That is the only transformation. And you cannot force it. It happens when you are loose and natural. Remaining loose and natural, one can break the yoke, thus gaining liberation, and one becomes totally free. It will be difficult in the beginning, because constantly the old habits will be there forcing you to do something. You would like to be angry, but the old habit simply starts a smile on your face. There are people that whenever they smile, you can be certain that they are angry. In their very smile, they show the anger. They are hiding something. A false smile spreads on their face. These are the hypocrites. A hypocrite is an unnatural man. If anger is there, he will smile. If hate is there, he will show love. If he feels murderous, he will pretend compassion. A hypocrite is a perfect moralist, absolutely artificial, a plastic flower, ugly, of no use, not a flower at all, just a pretension. Tantra is the natural way. Be loose and natural. It will be difficult because the old habits have to be broken. It is difficult because you will have to live in a society of hypocrites. It will be difficult because everywhere you will find a conflict with the hypocrites. But one has to go through it. It will be arduous because there are many investments in false, artificial pretensions. You may feel completely alone, but this will be only a passing phase. Soon, others will start feeling your authenticity. And remember, even an authentic anger is better than a pretended smile, because at least it is authentic. And a man who cannot be authentically angry cannot be authentic at all. At least he is authentic, true to his being. Whatsoever is happening, you can rely on him that it is true. And this is my observation, that a true anger is beautiful and a false smile is ugly. And a true hate has its own beauty, just like true love. Because beauty is concerned with truth, neither it is concerned with hate, not with love. It is beauty is of the truth. Truth is beautiful. in whatsoever form. A truly dead man is beautiful than a falsely alive man, because at least the basic quality is there of being true. Mullah Nasruddin's wife died, and the neighbors gathered. But Mullah Nasruddin was standing there completely unaffected, as if nothing has happened. Neighbors started crying and weeping, and they said, "What are you standing there, Nasruddin? She is dead." Nasruddin said, "Wait, she is such a liar. At least for 3 days I have to wait and see whether it is true or not." Remember this, that beauty is of truth, authenticity. Become more authentic and you will have a flowering. And the more authentic you become, by and by you will feel many things are falling away of their own accord. You never made any effort to do it. They are falling of their own accord. And once you know the knack of it, then you become more and more loose, more and more natural, authentic. And says Tilopa, one can break the yoke, thus gaining liberation. The liberation is not very far away. It is just hidden behind you. Once you are authentic and the door is open. But you are such a liar. You are such a pretender. You are such a hypocrite. You are so deeply false. That's why you feel that the liberation is very, very far away. It is not. For an authentic being, liberation is just natural. It is as natural as anything, as water flows towards the ocean, as vapor rises towards the sky, as the sun is hot and the moon is cool. So for an authentic being is liberation. It is nothing to be bragged about. It is nothing that you have to tell people that you have gained something. When Lynchy was asked that what has happened to you, people say that you have become enlightened. He shrugged his shoulders and said, happened? Nothing. I cut wood in the forest and carry water to the ashram. Carry water from the well. Cut wood because the winter is approaching. He shrugged his shoulders. A very meaningful gesture. He's saying nothing has happened. What nonsense you are asking? It is natural. Carrying water from the well, cutting wood in the forest. Life is absolutely natural. Says Lynchy, when I feel sleepy, I go to sleep. And when I feel hungry, I eat. Life has become absolutely natural. Liberation is your being perfectly natural. Liberation is not something to be bragged about that you have attained something very great. It is nothing great. It is nothing extraordinary. It is just being natural, just being yourself. So what to do? Drop pretensions. Drop hypocrisies. Drop all that you have cultivated around your natural being. Become natural. In the beginning, it will be a very, very arduous thing. But only in the beginning. Once you get attuned to it, others will also start feeling something has happened to you. Because the authentic being is such a force, such a magnetism. They will start feeling something has happened. This man no more moves as part of us. He has become totally different. And you will not be at a loss, because only artificial things will drop. And once the emptiness is created by throwing artificial things, pretensions, masks, then the natural being starts flowing. It needs space. Be empty, loose and natural. Let that be the most fundamental principle in your life. Enough for today.